Hi, I'm Julie Naklii, and this is a quick video on the problem with love according to astrology. So the basic problem with love in astrology is that, in our culture, love is all about falling in love and attraction, but the person that we fall in love with and that we're attracted to is a totally different person than the person that we end up in relationships with. And that's because the person we fall in love with is based on a person's sun sign and their ascendant. Together, these are how they put themselves out into the world, basically. And then the person that we end up in a relationship with is their moon and their descendant. And that is, those are made up of totally different signs and energies, So the more the relationship progresses, the more we start to move from the outer self to the inner self, like journey to the center of the earth. And as we get there, it's like a totally different person emerges and totally different energies start to dominate. So one of the polarities between falling in love and being in a relationship is the sun versus the moon. We fall in love with the sun, which is how a person, it's like their spirit, their energy, how they put, who they are in the outer world. And that comes from their dad. What they learned from him was cool and valuable and stuff like that. But then when we're in a relationship, we become in a relationship with their moon, which is likely going to be in a totally different sign, in a different house, etc. So that's the energy that they got from their mom. And that's about what makes them feel comfortable, what makes them feel safe, what their emotions are like, stuff like that. So like my son is a Scorpio. So sometimes people will see me as being controversial or intense because I might like say something like, if I'm just meeting someone, I might be like, hey, do you want to eat a shit-filled dick or something? But it's like, so if they're like, but they're looking for that energy, they like me when I say that because they're looking for that energy in a relationship, they wouldn't really get it because my moon is in Gemini, which is a lot more of a lightweight sign that just wants to like gossip and like travel around the neighborhood and stuff. So as they get to know me better, I'll start to seem less like a Scorpio and more like a Gemini. And then the other polarity is ascendant versus descendant. Our ascendant is our physical appearance and how we also, similar to the sun, is how we put ourselves out there into the world. The descendant is how we are in relationships and what we want to get out of relationships. And these energies are always polar opposites, which makes sense when you think about it. Because if we're constantly putting a certain thing out into the world, it's going to create an imbalance, And so then from our most intimate relationships, we try to get that thing that we need, that we've become deficient in from how we interact with the world. So for example, people have really sweet ascendants and they might just seem like super fucking sensitive when you see them, like a Cancer rising or Libra rising. Then they frequently have they do have like harsh or cold descendants, like Capricorn or Aries, because they need to, how fucking nice and sweet they are to everyone creates an imbalance that they get through their most intimate relationships, through being in a different way in those relationships. Like for me, for example, I have Sagittarius rising, so it's like I'm making videos on astrology and stuff, like the meaning of life. But in relationships, my descendant is ruled by Gemini, like my moon. So that means that in relationships, like the last thing I want to talk about is like discussing the meaning of life with someone. I just want to know, like, I just want to hear like gossip and just like mundane talk is like all I have space for, really, because it's like I already made this fucking video. I don't want to hear somebody else like talk about like aliens for 4 hours, I just want to hear like, what did they eat, who gained weight, like whatever, just stuff like that, just because the mundane stuff is soothing to me. So anyway, yeah, so if a person wanted someone to discuss the meaning of life with, like in an Indian ashram, I wouldn't be a good choice for that. So that's a basic problem. So if you were to get an astrology reading for love, one thing you would want the astrologer to look at would be like, what is the person's moon doing and what is this person's descendant? Because that's a part of them you aren't going to see until it's too late. And by too late, I mean you're already in love with them. And then that's when that's going to come out. So in addition to like a compatibility reading, you would want a reading on their moon and their descendant, so you know what kinds of energies you're going to be getting more and more of as a relationship progresses, and whether or not those will be compatible with you. Okay, so thanks a lot. And I just want to say, it doesn't necessarily mean the person who emerges is going to be worse. It could be better. But I mean, what are the odds that you fall in love with their outer self and you're also going to fall in love with this totally different person that's their inner self? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I don't know. Maybe try to fall in love with someone who's the opposite of everything you like, and then you will be in paradise. My name is Julian Ackley, and this is a video on the problems with love and astrology.